In the glittering world of professional sports, particularly the NBA, the spotlight often shines brightly on the athletes who dazzle fans with their incredible skills and athleticism. However, lurking beneath the surface is a darker reality that many fans may not be aware of: the pervasive issue of drug abuse. This is not just a story of addiction. It's a narrative filled with promise, despair, and the haunting consequences of choices made under pressure. Today, we'll explore the harrowing journeys of several NBA players whose careers have been dramatically affected by substance abuse, revealing the struggles they faced and the impact it had on their lives both on and off the court. Willie Cauley-Stein entered the NBA as a highly touted prospect, selected 6th overall by the Sacramento Kings in the 2015 draft. Known for his defensive prowess and athleticism, he was expected to be a key player for the Kings, a franchise that had long been searching for a cornerstone. Cauley-Stein had a promising college career at the University of Kentucky, where he played alongside future stars like Devin Booker and Karl-Anthony Towns. His defensive skills earned him a reputation as a potential game-changer, with scouts praising his ability to guard multiple positions and disrupt opposing offenses. However, the transition to the NBA was not as smooth as many had hoped. Cauley-Stein struggled to find his footing in a league filled with seasoned veterans who were more experienced and adept at navigating the complexities of professional basketball. His rookie season was marked by inconsistency, and he averaged just 9 points and 6.4 rebounds, numbers that fell short of expectations for a player of his caliber. The Kings' environment, plagued by dysfunction and instability, did little to help his development. Coaching changes, lack of direction, and internal strife within the organization created a challenging atmosphere for young players like Cauley-Stein to thrive. As he tried to carve out a role for himself, personal tragedies began to weigh heavily on his shoulders. The turning point came when Cauley-Stein experienced a series of devastating losses that would profoundly impact his mental health. 3 of his childhood friends were shot, one fatally, thrusting him into a state of grief and confusion. The emotional toll of these tragedies was immense, and instead of seeking help, he turned inward, struggling to cope with his pain. The pressures of his career, combined with the weight of his losses, began to manifest in unhealthy ways, leading him down a dark path. With his grandmother, who had raised him, diagnosed with terminal bone cancer, Cauley-Stein found himself feeling increasingly helpless and overwhelmed. She had been a significant source of support throughout his life, and her declining health added to his emotional burden. In his desperation to escape the reality of his situation, he sought solace in drugs. Initially, he turned to painkillers, believing they would help numb his emotional pain and provide him with a temporary escape from the overwhelming grief and pressure he was experiencing. However, the very substances that were meant to provide relief only served to compound his problems. As he became increasingly reliant on these drugs, his performance on the court began to suffer. The once promising player who had shown flashes of brilliance now found himself struggling to maintain focus and consistency. His defensive skills, which had been his calling card, began to wane as his addiction took hold. Cauley-Stein's story is a stark reminder of how quickly things can change in the world of sports. A player once filled with promise found himself overshadowed by addiction, struggling to keep his career alive while battling demons that threatened to consume him. The pressures of fame, coupled with personal loss, created a perfect storm that led to his downward spiral. Moreover, the stigma surrounding addiction in professional sports made it difficult for Cauley-Stein to seek the help he desperately needed. In an environment where vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, many athletes, including Cauley-Stein, feel compelled to hide their struggles rather than confront them. This culture of silence can be detrimental, preventing players from accessing the support systems that could help them in their time of need. As Cauley-Stein navigated the treacherous waters of addiction, he faced not only the challenges of maintaining his performance on the court, but also the internal battles that raged within him. The once promising career began to dim, overshadowed by the harsh realities of life in the NBA. His journey serves as a powerful testament to the complexities of mental health and addiction in professional sports, revealing the often hidden struggles faced by athletes behind the scenes. This was just the beginning of a narrative that would reveal the harsh realities of life in the NBA. The challenges faced by Cauley-Stein are not unique. they reflect a broader issue that affects many players in the league. As we continue to explore the impact of addiction on athletes, it becomes increasingly clear that addressing these issues is crucial for fostering a healthier environment in professional sports. As Willie Cauley-Stein's career progressed, his addiction intensified, becoming an increasingly debilitating force in his life. Initially, he found himself popping pills daily, often masking his substance abuse from friends, teammates, and coaches. The drugs provided a temporary escape from the overwhelming emotions he faced, allowing him to momentarily dull the pain of personal losses and professional pressures. However, this coping mechanism took a significant toll on both his physical health and on-court performance. His once promising career became marred by inconsistency, poor focus, and erratic play. After a stint with the Sacramento Kings, Cauley-Stein joined the Golden State Warriors, a franchise celebrated for its success and strong team culture. The Warriors viewed him as a potential asset, believing he could thrive in their fast-paced system that emphasized ball movement and defensive versatility. However, the mounting pressures of living up to expectations, combined with the weight of his personal struggles, continued to bear down on him. Instead of finding relief, he was unable to shake the feeling of inadequacy, which led him to rely even more heavily on substances to cope with his anxiety and self-doubt. The turning point in Cauley-Stein's journey came when he was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. What should have been a fresh start quickly turned into another chapter of disappointment. He arrived in Dallas with hopes of revitalizing his career, but his playing time dwindled as he struggled to adapt to the team's dynamics and expectations. He became a shadow of the player he once was, and the drugs that had initially offered him relief now threatened to derail his entire career. The cycle of addiction tightened its grip, and he found himself battling not just for minutes on the court, but for his very future in the NBA. As he fought against addiction, Cauley-Stein's mental health deteriorated significantly. He grappled with feelings of isolation, despair, and hopelessness, often feeling trapped in a cycle he couldn't escape. The pressures of being a professional athlete, where performance is scrutinized and public perception can shift in an instant, combined with the personal tragedies he had faced, created a perfect storm that pushed him deeper into addiction. His struggles became a source of internal conflict, where the desire to succeed clashed with the overwhelming need to numb his pain. In the world of professional sports, where success is often measured by performance on the court, Cauley-Stein's struggles went largely unnoticed by fans, and even some within the league. The culture of silence surrounding addiction in sports can be damaging, as it prevents players from seeking the help they desperately need. Many athletes, feeling the weight of expectations and the stigma associated with mental health issues, suffer in silence, fearing that admitting their struggles might jeopardize their careers. Cauley-Stein's story is not unique. It is a reflection of a broader issue faced by many athletes who battle addiction and mental health challenges behind closed doors. The pressures of fame, the relentless pursuit of excellence, and the often ignored emotional toll of personal tragedies create an environment where addiction can flourish. As the narrative unfolds, it highlights the urgent need for a cultural shift within professional sports, one that encourages openness, support, and understanding for athletes grappling with similar battles. Ultimately, Cauley-Stein's rise of addiction serves as a cautionary tale, illuminating the darker side of professional sports. The league has recognized the importance of providing comprehensive support systems for players, including mental health resources, recovery programs, and educational initiatives aimed at preventing substance abuse. This shift acknowledges that addiction is a complex issue requiring understanding and compassion, rather than solely punitive measures. The NBA has begun implementing programs focused on mental health awareness and providing players access to counseling and support networks. David Stern's policies marked a pivotal moment in NBA history, highlighting the need for a more nuanced approach to player welfare. While his efforts to combat substance abuse were necessary for the integrity of the league, they also serve as a reminder that empathy in sports is crucial. The ongoing challenge for the NBA is to find a balance between maintaining discipline and providing the necessary support for players facing addiction. As the league continues to evolve, it must ensure that it fosters a healthier environment for all athletes, prioritizing their mental and physical well-being alongside competitive integrity. Richard Dumas' journey through the NBA serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by players battling addiction. Once a promising talent, Dumas experienced a meteoric rise in the league, becoming a key player for the Phoenix Suns during their run to the NBA Finals in 1993. His undeniable skills on the court quickly made him a fan favorite. However, behind the scenes, Dumas was fighting a battle with addiction that would ultimately take its toll. Despite his success, he struggled to maintain sobriety as substance abuse issues began to surface, leading to multiple suspensions and a decline in performance. The immense pressure of being a professional athlete, combined with the challenges of addiction, created a perfect storm that threatened to consume him. In a desperate attempt to regain control of his life, Dumas sought help and entered a rehabilitation program. His journey to recovery was fraught with challenges, but he emerged with a renewed sense of purpose, determined to reclaim his place in the NBA and prove that he could overcome his struggles. Upon returning to the league, Dumas experienced a brief resurgence, showcasing his talents once again. However, the demons of addiction were never far behind, and despite his efforts to stay clean, he faced setbacks that ultimately led to his departure from the league. Dumas' story is a testament to the complexities of addiction and the challenges faced by athletes in their pursuit of success. While he experienced moments of triumph, the shadow of his struggles loomed large, serving as a reminder of the fine line between success and failure. As we reflect on the stories of Willie Cauley-Stein, Eddie Griffin, and Richard Dumas, it's essential to recognize the broader implications of addiction in the NBA. These narratives are not just isolated incidents. They represent a systemic issue that has affected countless players throughout the league's history. The NBA has seen its fair share of talented players whose careers were cut short by addiction. The pressure to perform at the highest level, combined with the lifestyle that accompanies professional sports, creates a perfect storm for substance abuse to thrive. Many athletes turn to drugs as a means of coping with the immense pressure they face, often leading to a downward spiral that can be difficult to escape. The impact of addiction extends beyond the individual player. It affects teams, families, and fans alike. The loss of a talented player due to substance abuse is a tragedy that resonates throughout the community, serving as a stark reminder of the human cost of addiction and the need for greater awareness and support for those struggling with these issues. Conclusion. In conclusion, the stories of Willie Cauley-Stein, Eddie Griffin, and Richard Dumas highlight the complex relationship between addiction and professional sports. While these athletes achieved great success on the court, their struggles with substance abuse serve as a cautionary tale for the league and its fans. The NBA has made strides in addressing the issue of drug abuse, but there is still much work to be done. Creating a culture of support and understanding is essential for helping players navigate the challenges they face. By fostering an environment that encourages open dialogue about mental health and addiction, the league can help ensure that future generations of athletes do not fall victim to the same pitfalls. As fans, we must also recognize the humanity behind the players we admire. Their stories are often filled with triumph and tragedy, and it is our responsibility to support them in their journeys. The battle against addiction is ongoing, and by shining a light on these issues, we can help create a better future for all athletes. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of the dark side of the NBA. If you found this discussion insightful, please consider sharing it with others. Together, we can raise awareness and support those who need it most. Until next time, take care and keep the conversation going.